Hello, everyone. Today we come to you with a heavy heart. We lost a good person today. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, uh, brutally murdered, and it's probably going to end up taking over the majority of today's rant. Well, of course, we were going to have a rant going today because of some of the news stories that we were going to be covering from here in my own hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. Because what happened with, can you say her name for me, guys? Iryna. Logan Federico was the girl that from Waxhaw that was murdered when she was in Colombia that they covered up. But I mean the Ukrainian girl's name. I think it was Iryna something.
Iryna Zarutska.
Yeah. She wasn't the only person that has had something like this happen to them. And her murder was not the first thing to get covered up by the mainstream news coming out of Charlotte because the politicians pushed it to be covered up. There's been several major scandals that have come out of Charlotte that's been covered up. And this is yeah.
Because I didn't even hear about this murder.
Yeah, Logan Federico. She was 22 years old, a college student that was visiting friends of hers down in Colombia, and she was brutally murdered. The Federico family, my family knows their family. They live they live right down the road from us. We know each other in passing, but they're in our neighborhood, you know, and their murder was, oh God, it wasn't good, and I don't know what to do, you know, because. All right. Give me a second, guys. I need to send a message right quick. I'm sending a link. There we go. There you go, Tales of Valhalla. Siggy, would you like to join in too? Because I just sent our madman a link. Do you want to join us? But I know me, dark side is strong in me. See what I want to see happen. YouTube ban for your channel. I totally get it. All right, Siggy. Thank you for not making me break out the water bottle. I'm sorry, but I need to laugh a little bit. Okay, Siggy, make me laugh for a second here. You know what to do. Come on, you can do it. Just say something about Harvey not being a deadbeat dad, so I can break out the spray bottle.
Yeah, for once. There we go. There we go.
Thank you, Siggy. That's Siggy. Thank you, Siggy. Oh God, I love you guys. Sure.
This is a hard one today.
Yeah.
Do
you want to start off with some news that's not as gut wrenching, and we can work our way to that?
Yes, please. Go ahead and take us through the Nintendo outrage.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna let you take for a bit so I can try to stop crying.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of people who've been paying attention to video game news, or people who've been watching the Fireside chats know what's been going on with Nintendo, the lawsuit with Power World and all that. They've been taking out all sorts of patents in order to use in their lawsuit against Power World, but they didn't start taking them out until recently for the specific purpose of using them against Power World. Well, the most recent one that came out, apparently Nintendo has filed a patent in the United States for, let me check it to make sure I have the wording right. Check the article here. Summoning creatures to use in battle. So, I haven't actually read the actual patent itself, but if this does not apply only to video games, and this applies to games, if this were to apply to game in general, this would affect literally the entire industry. Even if it is just video games, it affects the entire video game industry, not just their lawsuit with Power World. This affects everything on PlayStation, everything on Xbox, everything on Sega, every console that has ever had a video game on it. Siggy, I hate to say this, but for the first time, I think ever, I am on the verge of begging DC to push the friggin' button.
No. Bad Jeff. Bad Jeff.
I have never been so strongly agreeing with Sig Balderson before.
See, Siggy, the spray bottle does come out for other people too.
But yeah, so I mentioned last week that Digimon has made a new game. Digimon, of course, being a video game franchise and an anime, several I believe, that revolves around creatures and having animal-like companions, which is basically a knockoff of Pokemon. The only primary difference being they can talk.
Yeah, I'm just I can't believe that they're doing this. You know, YT for fun. Hello there. You're new here. I hope you're having a good day.
He's a good buddy of mine.
Oh, good. Today's a pretty heavy day. Yes, the banner. I've got the banner running because I learned how to do that this past week. Mainly because I had several people sit there and say, "Hey, we're cheesing him off enough to where we're going to get a rant. We're going to get a rant. Yoo-hoo!" And so I came up with this banner: warning, rant incoming. Warning, just to deal with it. And I also came up with a banner that says, "And now you know, and knowing is half the battle," because people kept bringing it up that we needed to get that little the meme to set up to do it.
But yeah, we're starting off with some relatively light news in order to prepare for the heavier stuff.
Because this, like the banner says, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and there's no other way to put it. This was an assassination. This was a murder. It was brutal. It was Charlie Kirk.
The video.
this guy.
Definite assassination.
Okay, hey Carlos, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. Just let me know, and I'll send you a link.
And IT, if you want to join, let me know, and I'll send you a link as well.
Yeah, because I tried to talk my sisters into joining, but they're afraid that. Well, our family profanity is one of our favorite adjectives, and they're terrified that we would get my channel killed in a heartbeat.
No, Siggy. What'd you do with that spray bottle, Richard?
Okay, here it comes, man. You asked for the spray bottle. Here it is. Bad signals. Bad Siggy. Bad. Bad Siggy. Bad signals. Bad.
But yeah, at this point, I was talking to Richard before the stream. At this point, I feel like Nintendo's next step would be to take out a patent on using animals at all in video games, or using any kind of a creature. Mm-hmm. Or hell, what's to stop them from taking out a patent on video games at all? This is getting ridiculous.
I don't think that's going to fly.
No, yeah. But I'm being hyperbolic. Then again, this is Nintendo. When was the last time you heard Nintendo actually losing a lawsuit?
True, but I think this sort of case would probably rise to the situation where even some gaming companies might turn around and say, you know what, you want to foot the bill? Fine, we'll foot the bill. Because look at Apple and the makers of Fortnite. You know? Yeah, Epic's Epic, but Apple. Okay. Yeah. Apple's Apple. Let's, we're talking hundreds of millions versus trillions, and they still win it.
Yep.
Okay. They still win at it.
Look at what happened with the Star Trek Discovery. Okay. Yeah. Star Trek Discovery, they pretty much ripped off. Well, they all the evidence points that they ripped off. I think his name was Anis, A-N-I-S, who was creating a game all on his own dime. And they pretty much ripped the whole thing off and put it into the Star Trek setting.
Yep.
The only thing they didn't rip off from this kid, this guy from, I think he was from the UAE or something like that.
Yep. Can I press pause for a second?
Sure.
Just in, apparently Kash Patel is announced on C-SPAN that the suspect is now in custody.
That is some actual good news.
Please continue. And I'm sorry to cut in on you. Please continue.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, we can add that to our rant when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Yep. That's all good.
Yeah.
Hopefully Marcelo will be joining us because I sent him a link too.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. Me, brother. That's me. I had to. I haven't watched the news all day, and once I flipped on the tube and I saw this travesty, because one of my boys is his age. They're just a few months. They're just a few months apart, and he doesn't live down here. Okay, he lives up in ATL. Okay, and I don't know about y'all, but when you got kids, the first thing that comes through your mind is, "Where's the kids?"
Yeah. I haven't felt this strongly about. Right, I haven't felt this strongly about anything remotely political since 9/11.
I mean, I'm sorry, but and the thing is, I didn't watch the video, but I have friends out in Utah who unfortunately did. And they said, hey, they've got around to texting me and like, hey, have you watched the news? And I go, no, I haven't. And I did, and I watched it. And I'm sorry, we're not ready for this. So I'm going to hold back. Keep going, Wario. Keep going.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
save that rant. Save that
Otherwise,
rant.
it's going to be stream of consciousness.
Yeah, you'll have a chance. You'll have a chance, Marcelo. Trust me, you'll have your chance.
So
But yeah,
this is going to be pretty. Like I said,
I have a
originally
feeling,
tonight we were going to, like I said, we were going to talk about the murder on the light rail, the little girl that was killed from my own hometown. We share the same birthday. She was also born on the 20th of January, just in a different year, of course. And the fact that the news media didn't cover it, it's one of the reasons why their GoFundMe's links are in the description here, is to help the families. And one of the things I was going to talk about was the fact that President Trump was more than willing to cover the cost of getting her remains to be sent back to her family into Ukraine. And her family said, no, please don't. Please bury her in the United States because she really loved the United States. And Trump's covering that. So I'm going to ask you, Jeff, do you think, should we put off talking about Logan and Iryna until next week, or should we try to touch on it?
I do believe those should be saved for next week, because I have a strong feeling once we get to the Charlie Kirk thing, I have a strong feeling that's gonna monopolize most of the conversation.
I concur.
Yeah,
as if what happened up in Charlotte last week wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even Doomcock has decided not to do Pop Culture Breakdown tonight. And since he's not going to be doing Pop Culture Breakdown, I try to make sure that my streams are over so y'all can go do Pop Culture Breakdown.
Yeah.
So depending on how things go and how interaction with the chat is, if we're still talking, we'll talk until we're done, because I know on Tony's server they're talking about this and how they need an outlet for it, because this has really got everybody.
I mean, they've got folks on the Daily Wire. They've got over 100,000 people right now. WDW Pro, Valiant Renegade.
It's every channel.
I could go on and on. How many folks are firing up?
Yeah. We've gone way off the rails, though.
I'm sorry.
And the messed up thing is the mainstream media and the left keep saying all this violence is because of the right. But we have time after time after time after time after time this shit has happened. It's always been the left doing it to the right.
Here.
We've had, I mean, for God's sakes, a Bernie Sanders supporter went to the congressional baseball training sessions and asked which group was the Republicans, just so he could go and gun down Republicans.
That's right. And they talked it down.
Yep.
They talked it down. Okay.
They tried to blame the Republicans for the fact that some crazy Bernie Sanders supporter came and shot them. And look at the George Floyd riots and the Antifa and the BLM stuff, where they were burning cities down. Over 1,000-something people murdered during that shit. Thousands of cops injured during that shit.
Even more were murdered.
Yes, and billions, if not $1 trillion worth of property damage. But yet that was mostly peaceful. But they keep throwing January the 6th up in our faces. The most that can be classified is a riot. And they were invited into the Capitol building. We have the video evidence of that shit. We also have the video evidence that Trump looked at Nancy Pelosi and says, "Can I give? I'm wanting to activate the National Guard to help with security," and Nancy Pelosi said no.
And they have it on record. And they have it on record.
We have it on video of her saying, "This is my fault. I should have accepted the National Guard," and her own daughter's the one who filmed it. But yet, it's all Trump's fault. And this stuff is going to keep happening because we have allowed the left to dehumanize the right to this extent. I got upset when people called me a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, and a Nazi, and all this other stuff, because I've been living my life. I'm 55 years old here. I was born in 71. I'm old. I've got mileage that most people are sitting there going, "Holy shit, dude, that's fucked up." I mean, when you died 5 times, you can add in some mileage into it. Plus the fact that I've been politically aware since I was a child. My first political memories was watching Nixon resign and get on Army One and flying away from the White House. So I've been politically aware since I was a little kid. And I have watched as every time there has been a Republican in the limelight, they have been accused of being a racist, a bigot, a fascist, an authoritarian. For God's sake, the stuff they said about Reagan was so messed up.
Yep.
Siggy's actually older than me. Oh, wow. And here I thought you were just a little
Siggy, there is no way you're my age.
Oh, Siggy saw the fall of Saigon.
There's no. Please, I got to stay up when man landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Hello. Please.
Yeah, the fall of Saigon. That's a memory that I don't know if I saw it live or if I saw it on repeat, because I do remember watching those videos as a kid and crying.
Yeah, people talk about the Floyd riots and this and that, and the LA riots and the New York riots. They forget that here in Miami we had riots too. There were some corrupt drug cops that killed a black young man, okay, because he tried to escape. He was carrying drugs, okay, and they set Miami on fire for 3 days. Nobody ever brings that up, okay? And
we had a similar case like that here in Monroe back in the 60s.
Yeah, and I remember being a teenager and it's like, oh crap, we can't go to school. Couldn't go to school for 3 days. They shut down the public school system, okay, because the main highway, I-95, runs right smack in the middle, okay. You couldn't go on. There were cars on fire on the highway, and people don't talk about that. People don't bring that up, okay. And I'm not saying that the cops didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I believe they did. They did not have to escalate, but they didn't train people to de-escalate back in the day. All right. But the fact is, it didn't matter. Okay. Hello, I'm Latin. Hello. It's baked into the name. Okay. And we were discriminated against. Okay. But we didn't set our community on fire. We didn't set our community on fire.
Marriott, wait a minute.
You would never have seen something like that.
Are you saying that you're Puerto Rican?
No, my parents are Cuban.
I know. I'm making a joke.
I get it. No, I get it. It's all right. But hey, Richard knows. I give it to you straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
My mom came over, and my mom came over 58. My dad had to get smuggled out because they wanted to send him to military duty. Okay. And you know, I've been to the island, and people here have absolutely zero clue what socialism and communism actually is. I guarantee you that they have zero clue. Zero clue. Okay. Zero clue. And I'm not going to tell you that story, but I know for a fact that people in this
If
country
you ever want to do, let's talk about Cuba. Let me know, and we'll do it.
Please believe me. Let's just put it this way. I can't write some of the stories that I know about. I can't. I'll put it to you that way. I can't. Okay. Some people who know me know why I can't, but I mean, the fact is that the vast majority of people who call themselves American do not have a clue how good they have it, and yet they will choose to put this place down
Yeah.
at every opportunity. At every opportunity.
I've been saying that for years, especially after I came back from the service and I saw the world. And
there you go.
When I was in the things I saw in Africa and the Middle East, guys.
Oh man.
Let
me tell you.
My nightmares, that's where my nightmares come from.
And you don't even have to go to that hemisphere, dude. You don't have to go to that hemisphere. You can take a plane flight for an hour and a half. Okay. You know, it is a whole different world outside this country. If you take a cruise to the Caribbean and you go and see how some things are in some of those islands outside of the resorts, outside of the excursions, okay, you immediately see the stark difference. Okay, stark. Okay, here, true story. Okay, last year I took a cruise in the middle of the Mediterranean. Okay, had it paid up for a long time before. The cruise line was going to take it away from me, and I went in the middle of the Caribbean. We picked up, or the boat picked up, a boat with 77 migrants. The boat, and I mean boat because it was a sailboat, had 77 people on it, some as young as 6 months old. Okay, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you think we've taken in refugees? No, my friend. Au contraire. Oh,
it's really bad in Europe.
It's really bad in Europe. Really bad in Europe.
Okay, Zachary is in the UK. Zachary is my son. He is in the UK. So I've been stressed out about all the stuff that's been going on in the UK.
Oh, please. He can't even say certain things on the street without fear of being picked up. They picked up a comedian the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They picked off of a tweet. A tweet, and the man was arrested. A tweet.
Now, in Europe, the waves of immigrants that were coming across from Africa and the Middle East have overwhelmed so many countries' economies. It's not even funny. So bad, they've literally been breaking international law by just passing them through their country to try to send them to the UK and the Scandinavian countries like Sweden. Sweden is having such a massive problem. It's not even funny. You know how we talk about knife crimes and stuff like that that's been going on in the UK? They've actually had grenade crimes in Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's so much of this stuff that they don't talk about in the mainstream media. That's one of the things that today's live stream was originally going to be talking about, how the media isn't been reporting on this stuff.
Of course they don't. Doesn't fit in with their narrative.
I'm going to break it out again in a second, Siggy. Behave. But yes, I'm looking at this stuff, and Charlie Kirk, his whole thing was about open dialogue. he was trying to bridge the gap, showing that even people who vehemently disagree can still be civil with each other.
Yep.
And that, I respected that, because when we met at one of the Republican things that I took part in while trying to help a friend of mine get elected to Congress, unfortunately he didn't win because, well, it was a gerrymandered district that put him at a disadvantage to begin with. It was, but he still did it. He still pushed forward, and I helped campaign for him and to get him through. And one of the campaign events that we did was when the movie Red Tails came out, was because I can't remember. Yeah, it was his father was a red tail who had flown in World War II as a red tail. And his opponent's grandfather was a pilot on one of the bombers. And so the two of them did an event together where they basically was paying people's tickets to go see the movie. And so I got involved in this stuff back then. And the funny thing is, Vern kept telling me I seriously should have thought about running for office. And I'm like, yeah, right. I'd never get elected because of who and what I am. But anyway, I'm digressing and talking about myself. I didn't mean to. I was talking about when I got to meet Charlie Kirk. He was just a kid. And Turning Point USA was just getting its start. And he was talking about the fact that we just needed to get civil discourse back going, to try to get people to stop hating each other just because of their politics. And I greatly respected that. It's one of the reasons why, well, I've already broken down twice already on this stream, but I'm trying not to again. But he was a good kid with a good heart. And the people who keep resorting to violence are the ones that keep accusing us of being the violent ones. And it worries me, because we're going to have the Bubba effect kick in if they're not careful. For those who don't know what the Bubba effect is, this is something United States Special Operations Command refers to. The Bubba effect. When you push the everyday guy who just wants to have his Pabst Blue Ribbon, at the end of the day, have his guns to go hunting deer every now and again, and watch his football and just be left the hell alone. If he feels like he's threatened, if he feels like you're trying to harm him, or worse, harm the people he loves, he's going to break out that 12 gauge and go, all right, motherfuckers, you fucked around. It's time to find out. That's the Bubba effect.
You know what? Now that you bring that up, that's the tactic being undertaken by these other folks. I don't need to name it. I think anybody who's listening to this stream knows precisely what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, they're pushing people's buttons, man.
But the funny part is they are taking this tactic, okay, on a day-to-day basis. You see people actively making assertive threats. There, I said it. Assertive threats.
Maxine Waters, the stuff she was saying on the side of the road. Oh God!
I don't even mean the politicians, because I'll put it to you this way. My grandparents, they escaped fascism in Spain and then communism in Cuba, a double whammy. Okay, or rather, my great grandparents and then my grandparents. Okay. The point is that if politicians' lips are moving, they're lying, and if they're not moving, they're thinking of what their next lie is. There, I said it.
Yeah, politicians are not.
I'm just going to leave it there. Okay.
we need to get rid of all. We need to get rid of all the active politicians.
I'm just talking
true.
about the quote unquote the average person out there. Okay, there are still folks out there that are actively. They're not just disengaged from understanding how people might have a different opinion than them. They are actively speaking against causing some harm to someone who does not have that same opinion. And the funny part is that it's even directed at people that might traditionally be in their camp, on their side of the political spectrum.
The sad part of it all is, as long as we have, quote, politicians, the world will continue to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
The only way we can actually get people to enforce a solid change is to remove the profession of the concept of politics.
Yeah.
Well,
You ever watch the show Designated Survivor?
Yeah.
I have been saying for years that we need a situation like that.
Mm.
Something like 9/11 to bring us all together again.
Well, I'm hoping that might be what's happened with the murder of Charlie Kirk. Because there are people on the left that have been saying this is fucked up. This has got to stop. Jimmy Dore was doing a live stream on Rumble about this,
right?
Being so fucked up.
You got Dave Rubin. You got what's this guy, Tim Pool?
Yeah.
Okay.
They all used to be on.
Oh yeah.
They all used to be on the left.
These posts. Now I want to see if Bill Maher says something.
Yeah.
I want to see if after what he's done, if Bill Burr bucks up and says something. Okay. If Bill Burr comes out and says it, I want to see if I want to see what Colbert says tonight. I want to see what Kimmel says tonight. I want to see if they have the chutzpah. Okay. The C.O. Jones to try to spin this in some other way. Let's see.
More than likely, they're going to either.
Let's see how this plays out.
Well, remember what they did when Trump got shot?
Well, yeah, but shot versus what?
Assassinated.
Thank you. 2 little girls, 31 years old. How old was JFK again?
30 something.
Thank you.
38, maybe
38. Thank you very much. Okay.
Because if I remember right,
I'm not equating them.
I can't remember who our youngest president was.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was JFK or TR.
Yeah.
Because Teddy Roosevelt was really young when he became president.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is there is a difference. One is still breathing, one is not. You cannot you can't spin that anyway. It's just that simple. You cannot spin not breathing versus still breathing. And as much as you might disagree with them, as much as you might revile the person's no longer breathing. And so what the mainstream media does within the next 24 hours, and that's why I say just chill and watch. What they do in the next 24 hours will set the tone, not just for the midterms, but for the next term of presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see what they try to spin this, because in this day and age, everything, the internet does not forget. You know that old meme, because Pepperidge Farm remembers?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
They're going to turn it about gun control.
They've already tried that.
Well,
already.
Let's just put it this way. Okay. Let's see what they say. Let's see what the jig up was with this particular person, what their deal was. Okay. But that will have its day in court. What I'm concerned about is what everybody else says and does in the next 24 hours. Okay? If there is a distinct lack of empathy, which is something that the political left asks for repeatedly and uses as their banner, if there is a distinct lack of empathy on the part of the political left, okay, it doesn't matter whether you're right or whether you're center. Okay, the message will be clear. From their perspective, they don't want to talk. They don't want to think, which is all this man ever did. Okay, anything you ever saw Charlie do was talk to people. If you disagreed with him, get to the front of the line. Okay? If you disagree with me, come to the front of the line. I want to talk to you.
And not to distract for a moment, but to answer a question you asked earlier with guys, the youngest president that was elected was in fact Teddy Roosevelt, and he was 42 years old at the age he became president.
Okay, so then JFK
was 43.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then he was shot when he was 45. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so a bit older. That's all right. I was off my math. But that's fine.
Everybody gets to make mistakes, man. Just as long as you admit to them.
Yeah. No, I was off in my math. Okay.
Your point still stands. That's what matters.
Yep. I'm just looking at. Let's see. Crazy says that the mainstream media was disgusting in how they reported on Charlie. They need to be taken off the air for this. Yes. MSNBC had several people at the same time all saying some really fucked up shit.
That's what I meant with the MSNBC. I said it wrong.
Look.
But it was disgusting.
Yeah. Look.
I mean, they were sitting there talking about one of the first things that they said. One of Charlie Kirk's supporters was shooting off his gun in celebration and it hit him.
Look, I remember when Reagan was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when he was shot, and Walter Cronkite was still on TV at the time. I think not in the news, but he was still on the TV. And now in the passage of time, it's clear Walter Cronkite steered very left for the time than most of the rest of the media. That's pretty much well assured. Even Walter Cronkite came out and made a harsh statement against what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A harsh statement against what happened. There are certain things you just don't do. One of them is going after a president.
Yep.
Okay? And frankly, I'll put it this way. Charlie Kirk had no aspirations, last you would say, of seeking political office. He's from my state. His family lives up the road a piece. Okay? I could literally hop in my car and 2.5 hours from now, I could be at their front door where he lives. Okay? He had no aspirations, despite, I'm sure, many people asking him to pursue office. Okay? Yeah. He could have taken Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds is running for Florida governor next year. Okay? He could have certainly moved around and run for Byron Donalds' seat in the House, and without question, I suspect he would have come away with that seat. Had no aspirations for that. Had zero aspirations for that. He wanted to get dialogue going in the country. It has been everything he's always said. Okay? And what they did today was simply not just an attack on him, it was an attack on the First Amendment. There, I said it. That's what this was. Yes, someone lost their life, but this was an attack on the First Amendment.
Yeah, but hold on a second, guys.
Simple as that. And I'm going to shut up now because
No, keep going for a moment. I got to take a second. Mario, keep going. I need a second. I need to step away for a moment. So if you guys can,
No worries. One of y'all take over. One of y'all take over.
I got it. I do have one other bit of video game news to talk about.
Let's do it.
To provide a bit of a distraction, don't know how many of you have heard, but Silk Song. Yeah. Yep. Marcelo's laughing. He knows what's going on. So, Silk Song was underestimated. When it was released, it crashed Steam, it crashed the Nintendo store, it crashed Sony, and it crashed Microsoft. So I have not seen this much hype for a game in ages. If Subnautica 2 was deemed to be the most hyped game of 2025, no. Silk Song blew that out of the water. Of course, Subnautica 2, for those who've been paying attention to this channel, is a lawsuit lightning rod, but that's beside the point.
Yep. They could sell it for twice the price and still make bank.
Oh yeah. But they're not going to raise the price because they enjoy making everyone else look like turds.
Yeah.
You have to realize Team Cherry, who are making these games, 3 guys working out of their basement.
Yeah. But you know why this works so well?
Why is that?
Because they don't have a certain 3-letter department hovering over them, and they're not bending the knee. Just saying.
That is correct.
That's it. They're like, it's a bug. It's a bug. Well, what is it? It's a bug.
Yep.
It's a bug.
It's literally an insect.
That's it. It's a bug. Oh, but what? No. It's a bug. Yeah, but you know that bugs come in. It's a bug. That's it, man.
Yep,
even
there is no other way to put it.
When even Reddit can't spin this differently, you know it's sticking.
Yep.
It's sticking the landing. No matter how hard folks have been trying, they're sticking the landing. It's a bug. Oh, but it's wearing it's a cloak. It's a bug. Shut up.
Yep. Even DeviantArt can't put us. Well, I'm sure DeviantArt probably could because DeviantArt and they're all degenerates. But yeah, point stands.
Yeah, point stands is you ain't mucking with this. I mean, it's like, look, man, I'm chugging along slowly, setting stuff up for my own place. Haven't launched it yet. Okay, and even I'm thinking of throwing down for this thing. Okay, I mean, shit, 20-er, a 20 for crying out loud. Throw down.
Yeah, if I wasn't waiting for my Nintendo Switch to be repaired, I'd definitely have thrown down the money for it because it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hell, the damn thing even runs on an Apple, runs on a Mac.
Yeah.
What's your excuse?
And it got 1 million. It sold 1 million copies within the first day? Yeah. With a concurrent of over 500 at any given time.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Let's go. Let's go.
Team Cherry came. They saw. They kicked everyone else's butts.
Yeah. And the funny part is that they've made the requirements so lightweight on this thing that, dude, this could end up being a thing that if they ever decided to put it out there, that people could turn around 10 years from now and say, hey, will this run on it? Like they say, hey, will it run Doom?
Yeah.
Run Doom. Okay,
Just
will it run this? Because this is so lightweight When was the last time you saw something this playable that only needed 4 gig of RAM?
Yeah.
Hello.
My puny little brick here could run it.
It's a ridiculous. You'd be nuts not to buy it.
Exactly.
I mean, for crying out loud. Oh, but I need 8 gig of storage. I only have 128 gigabyte thing. Dude, move something off the damn SSD for crying out loud.
Yep.
You know, move something off it for crying out loud. You know, or buy one of those new NVMe sticks and update the hard drive, because that's about all you can update on some of these Macs nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, for crying out loud, just do it. I was just like, whoa.
My tablet could run it.
Carlos Fish.
Yeah.
Looks like turd. You say that is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm not nuts. I'm corn.
Yeah, we know that's your preferred meal, Carlos. It's okay. We know
Yeah.
it. It's all right, man. Ain't no shame in that game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back,
Hey,
guys.
fish will be fish. Fish will be fish.
Yep. But okay, I'm back, guys. I'm sorry.
No, welcome back.
My
Welcome
nephew showed up with some information coming in.
He says I am what he eat. He says. Does that are you calling yourself shit?
Well, he is made out of shit, so yeah. Oh, but not. I'm looking at what's.
He even said yes in the chat.
Carlos, you silly buddy. All right, we've got some news that just breaking. Speaker Johnson paused votes for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Rep. Robart asked for someone to lead a prayer aloud. The Democrats objected, citing the House's silence after other shootings. Rep. Luna then started shouting across the aisle. It's been played on C-SPAN. I just got that off of Twitter. FBI Director Kash Patel says the subject of the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you for the local and state authorities in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, already 8.8 thousand replies.
So you're telling me that they'll allow for prayer and a breakfast, but on the floor of the House,
the Democrats lost their shit. And I'm like,
well,
this was a political assassination, guys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look, it's as I described. Charlie Kirk is, people. Oh, he's got a shtick. Yeah, his shtick is called the First Amendment. Okay, if you want to call it shtick, that's the whole point of the First Amendment. You can talk stupidities, right?
YT, we do this every week. We try to do it on Wednesdays, but sometimes we have to postpone it because of my health.
In which case, as I just mentioned in chat, we'll usually push it off until a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And we don't normally talk about political things. Normally we talk about fun stuff like video games or things like that. Or RPGs or things like that. We don't normally talk about politics or something like that, but this is a special occasion.
Yeah, this is an exceptional case.
Yes.
And I'm sorry guys, but pretty soon we're going to have to run the warning rant incoming warning banner, because it's going to be necessary because of this. This is something I've been talking about for years now, especially in Doomcock's chats and Tony's chats. We did not make this political. We just wanted to be left alone and live and let live. And the other side made it political. They started calling us bigots. They started calling us racist. They started calling us fascists and Nazis and everything but a child of God. Mainly because the majority of these people don't believe in a God. They can't imagine anything of a higher power than their beloved God of government.
Well, and here's the thing, that we do have a lot of folks who affiliate politically,
Mm-hmm.
do believe themselves to be religious people, believing in okay, I'll say it, God. Okay. Um and yet, when confronted with objective things, cognitive dissonance takes hold of them, because it's not as any belief like that isn't as deep seated as their political belief.
Yeah.
Their political belief overrides anything else, even when confronted with objective evidence. Okay?
And
Even when confronted with objective evidence.
that's the part that gets to me. It's why I keep saying irrational hatred overwhelms the rational mind and common human decency.
And the funny part is, then they'll turn around and use that irrational hatred. They'll use the phrase phobia,
Mm-hmm.
okay, on you, and that demonstrates their misunderstanding of what that means fundamentally.
Yep.
Okay, they do not understand that fundamental definition. That's the thing, they want to redefine things. They think that, oh, society has to evolve to redefine things, okay, without the understanding that, you know what, maybe things are just fine the way they are, and they've been just fine the way they are for a whole long time, and they don't need redefining. Okay, they don't need to be redefined. You're welcome to believe or not believe in whatever you're believing or not believing, but don't think you're going to impose that on anybody. Okay, I mean, I'm just, you know, it's just the rationality of it that it's why I don't discuss it. But this is one of those situations, Richard, where I'm like, no, this is someone who could be my kids' age,
Yeah.
with two little kids. This could be any of ours' children,
Mm-hmm.
any. And from what you just said that they did in the House of Representatives, they do not recognize that. They cannot for a moment set aside their own belief of infallibility and just let it happen. I mean, do you realize that I mean, if you've ever studied the history of how the Declaration got signed, you know,
Mhm.
where I studied, they taught it. Okay. But most people don't know that for as much of a drunkard as Benjamin Franklin was, he basically peer pressured them into signing the doggone thing.
Yep.
He peer
Because
pressured them. He
my
told
an-
them,
my ancestor was Richard Dobbs Spake Sr.
okay, there you go.
So yeah, I know the story behind it.
He peer pressured the Continental Congress. He basically called them. Can I say the P word here? Yeah, I'm just going to say it. He basically back in the 18th century vernacular, he called them pussies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in 18th century vernacular, he called them pussies.
And
You know,
and
so
it's one of the reasons why when I tell people who my ancestor was, and they're like, "Wow," and I'm like, "Yeah, if you want to see a picture of him, go look at the signing of the Constitution painting. He's the one who's actually signing it." And my people are looked at me like, "You got to be shitting me." Nope, that's my ancestor. My ex-wife, whenever I told her about it, she was like, "What?" And she didn't believe me until she saw that his profile was the same as mine. But yeah, I'm just. Carlos says, I'd like to redefine wood chipper as correctional facility officer. And I responded that Chippy would love that job.
Yep.
And the fact that then Carlos says, promotion to behavioral adjustment supervisor on the first day. Yeah, buddy, Chippy. Chippy. What a wonderful phrase. Yep. Me so hungry. Yum, yum. Eat 'em up.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to shuffle off here in a little bit. I gotta go feed an old guy. So
All right. You guys be good. But like I said, Charlie Kirk, this assassination is going to have major repercussions. There's no other way of putting it, because he was one of the biggest people talking about, let's talk. Just talk. No violence. Put everything on the table and talk it out. And anybody with half a brain agreed with that. Let's talk about this. Let's get it out there. I mean, how many times did he go on, literally walk into the lion's den to where it was a hostile environment he was walking into? I mean, he did the Bill Maher show. He's done these talk shows.
oh, dude, he was on Bill Maher maybe less than 6 months ago, and they were talking about this, and I think that was one of the catalysts for then Kid Rock going to Bill Maher and how Bill Maher ended up at the White House.
Yeah.
I think he kind of set that ball in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he ended up there talking to the man,
And that's the thing. I mean, Charlie Kirk, he was a kid that he was going places, even though he did not want to get involved in politics. He wanted the culture to get back to where American culture used to be, where you could have diverse opinions and still be friends.
And still be talking about. Do you know that he had been doing this since he was 18 years old?
Yeah,
Literally.
He was at
He did
CPAC.
this over going to college. He was self-educated about all this stuff. Okay,
Biggie, you keep your red button comments to yourself.
okay. The guy had more awareness of the Constitution and how it works than how many people who are in Congress today, okay, had a better understanding of how the Constitution works than many in Congress today. So, anyways, with that, I want to say thank you guys for letting me rant my head off. Richard, God bless.
It's all good.
Y'all take care. And I'll see
Mark,
you. Yes,
Marcelo,
sir.
before you go,
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Cuba.
Okay.
Just let me know when you want to do it, and we'll do it.
Well,
Because it's one of those subjects I'd like to talk about, especially since Castro's no longer there.
well, technically speaking, what most people don't realize that technically he still is. His brother is still alive. The guy who's the president there presently is one of the mentees of his brother, and his brother's children are all up in the operation of the government. And I personally wouldn't be surprised if when the guy who's now quote unquote the puppet, okay, because he's effectively the same thing that what's this guy who's in Venezuela right now who was Chavez's puppet, okay?
Maduro, I think.
Maduro, Chavez's puppet, okay? The guy who's running Cuba right now, he's basically Fidel's brother's puppet and his family. They're still running the joint, and nobody really realizes that stuff.
That's one of the reasons why I'd love to do a talk about it, because Cuba is one of those places that was so beautiful because I got to see it from Gitmo. And
thank you, Ian, by the way. Hey, thank you, Ian. I didn't say hello because I wasn't watching the chat. I've just been on the stream. Sorry about that. If I missed anybody, thank
How
you
you
very
doing,
much.
Ian?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Gitmo is an interesting place. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I
Yep.
can say about that. I'll say
I
it
feel
that
like
way.
I
That's
feel
all I'm
like
saying.
most of Congress needs to be sent to Gitmo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's Gitmo and then there's Gitmo. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. Anyways, y'all, peace, bless, and we'll see you around the next time.
All right.
Hey,
You
see
be
you,
blessed, brother.
Marcelo.
But yeah, this is one of those things. Like I said, Charlie Kirk, like him or hate him, he was about a peaceful, respectable discussion. He did not. People keep saying that he was spewing hate, but that's what they've always accused of anybody on our side of the aisle when we start talking. They try to say that we're not compassionate, we're not kind, or anything like that. I'm like, yo, dumbass, how many homeless people have you helped get off the street? Personally, I lost count. My family has lost count of the people that we helped get off the street. We lost count of the number of families we helped when there was nobody else around that could help them by dropping off care packages of food, clothing, toys, when they had hit really hard times. And we couldn't really afford it, but we still did it anyway because it was the right thing to do. And this is it. I'm worried about my baby sister because she's got a friend of hers that's really close to her. That when somebody tried to take Trump's head off, she showed up at my sister's house, happy and dancing, and somebody tried to kill Trump. Somebody tried to kill Trump, and it really hurt her really bad.
Yeah, somebody responding like somebody. If somebody were to come up walking up to me like dancing and singing like that, I would have immediately knocked them on their butt.
Yeah, and that
I wouldn't care if it was at work or church or whatever. You come in, hey, they almost killed Trump. They almost killed Trump. I'm sorry, I am going to beat you. There's no excuse for that.
We actually had somebody on one of my servers was talking about the fact that they were at work and one of the female they had to leave the workspace because a female coworker was celebrating the fact that Charlie Kirk was dead, that somebody took Charlie Kirk out. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
And I responded with, what you need to do is contact HR and report that, because that's creating a hostile work environment. Plus, that's somebody being a poor human being.
Yep.
And it drives me nuts when I see that kind of shit, because I still remember when I was working at the Waffle House, and the store manager in the middle of the Waffle House, because we were talking about how political assassinations was really fucked up, and nobody deserves that in a modern democratic country. And she
Correct.
made the statement that somebody needed to blow George W. Bush's head off. And everybody's head swiveled and looked at her like she had just, not only that she had basically swan dived right into a big pile of fecal matter that would make even Carlos Fish go, oh, hell no, of putridity.
Dookie.
And just look at her going, you just fucked up. And yeah, I'm looking at this stuff, and Oh boy, it's time to change the banner right quick. There we go.
Yeah, I mentioned this before stream. I've said this many times in previous streams. I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what side of the aisle the person who just died is on. I don't care how horrible the person they were. It is never, ever okay to wish harm or ill on another person, period. Nor is it okay to rejoice that they are dead. If it's somebody like Saddam Hussein or a certain German mustache man whose name I can't say per YouTube guidelines. In a situation like that, you are allowed a sigh of relief.
Mm-hmm.
But to actively rejoice to the point that you're dancing and singing and passing presents to other people because they're dead, you need to be locked up and thrown in an asylum.
Mm-hmm. And that's.
I have less respect. I have less respect for those people than I would a PDF file.
Mm-hmm.
And those who know me, that should tell you something.
Yep, Chippy. And
Yep.
Which is hilarious because that's what woke me up today was the tree people came through to clean up the trees around the power lines.
Yeah.
And the wood chippers were running really, really hard, and it was scaring the cats to death. And that's what woke me up was because the cats were freaking the heck out on top of me, going, "Dad, something's all going on outside! Wake up!
Yeah.
Wake up!" And so I wake up and I go look, and there's this beautiful orange wood chipper, and he was going, "Me so hungry." Me so hungry. Yum, yum, eat 'em up.
But yeah.
Throw 'em in feet first. Yum, yum, yum. So
Yep.
I was like, so for me, it was looking like, yeah, this is going to be an okay day. And then as I was getting everything ready because I was doing last minute searches because I had been searching about some of the stuff that's been going on in Charlotte that the mainstream news just did not want to report on. And several of them were sex scandals.
Yeah.
And do you guys have creative loafing where you're at?
Creative what?
Loafing. It's a free newspaper that comes out every week. It's national, but it's also local because they usually have locals that print it out and pass it out.
Yeah. I've never personally heard of it, but that doesn't mean it's not here.
Yeah, it's usually you can find it at like alternative places, that like weed stores and places like that. But
yeah,
creative loafing's been around for forever and a day because back when I was in college the first time in the mid to late 90s, one of the news articles that they had was talking about this council member or former council member who diddly kiddling, and he was being rewarded by them naming a government center after him until some of his victims and their families called into WBT, our local AM radio station, which was a talk radio station, and started talking about it. And so they basically had to go, oh shit, and they had to change the name of it.
Yeah.
Because this sort of thing has happened before in Charlotte, where heinous crimes happen and then the news media doesn't report on it. And I was going to today's live stream that was going to be my rant, was talking about how this has happened before. This isn't new here in Charlotte. How the Democrats in Charlotte that have so much control over our mainstream media here have been able to cover up a lot of really fucked up shit. And it's messed up. But I went on the Creative Loafing website trying to find the article that was about Charlotte's worst sex scandals. And it's been scrubbed clean from their website. And there's other articles that was written about this stuff that's been scrubbed off the internet. And I'm like, whoa. And so that was going to be what today's big rant was going to be about, was how news agencies aren't doing their freaking jobs no more. And you can't have a functional society that is a representative republic without a functioning news media that will just report the news without a political slant.
We can't even accurately call it news anymore because it doesn't, there's no facts involved. It's all nothing but either lies or negative twists on things that are really happening.
Yeah, and
there is no unbiased fact anymore.
That's why I said, this isn't how you have a successful representative republic. You can't have a government by the people and for the people and of the people if the people cannot be reliably informed about what's going on. That's why the media was originally called the Fourth Estate. Their entire purpose was to keep the politicians and the political class honest by reporting on everything that they were doing. And that was one of the things that the Democrats were able to really mess things up when they created the press corps there at the White House, was so they could control what the press was posting about Franklin Delano Roosevelt, trying to cover up the fact that he was stuck in a wheelchair. And most people don't know that. That's where that came about, was they were trying to control the news reporting on the fact that he was paralyzed. And yeah, the dude was impressive that he had enough upper body strength that he was able to make the braces that kept him standing to make it look like he was walking. That's why every time you saw a video of him, he was always walking with somebody right next to him.
Yep.
Was making sure he was able to make his steps and to be able to walk. It's why in the big Yalta conference photographs, they were all sitting down. Was because he was too weak to fake standing. And like I said, when the news media doesn't do its job, we get bad things that happen. We get worse things when the media ends up becoming a public relations organization for a single political ideology.
That is called brainwashing.
Exactly. And
that's called mass brainwashing.
And that's where we're at right now. The mainstream media has become just that. And we've got the proof's in the pudding with what they've been doing over the past few years. Well, not past few years, past few decades. It's like I've said, it's one of the reasons why I said we've not been on a slippery slope in decades. We're now on that slip and slide with a 6-foot coating of industrial strength Astroglide. The really good shit, the kind that allows a bull mastiff with gigantism to fit into a miniature teacup chihuahua with dwarfism and look back at the big dog and go, "Are you in yet?" That's why I say this, Yes, did the visual hit you in any really wild way that made you sit there and go, "Damn, man, that's a really messed up visual"? Good. Yeah. That's why I said it. Because that's where we're at today. We're not getting accurate news being reported from the mainstream. It's all the alternative news sources that are out there. It's citizen journalists now that's doing this stuff. That's where the original Project Veritas came into play, because they were getting tired of this very issue that that stuff wasn't getting reported. So they were going out and doing it themselves with the undercover sting videos. Now they're doing it as the O'Keefe Media Group. And you've got Steven Crowder, his organization of Mug Club, where they basically, because of what happened in 2020, with how they basically got kicked off of doing their live stream covering the election, they weren't going to let that happen again. And they spent a shit ton of money to create a news network of citizen journalists all across the country to keep an eye on what was going on during the election. And that's where the real news reporting is coming from, is these places that aren't mainstream. They're not quote unquote accredited, even though the people that are doing the reporting, odds are they've got degrees from journalism schools making these news reports. To take something out of role-playing games, they're the medias from Cyberpunk, because the majority of the media in Cyberpunk, yeah, you got the big companies and corporations that have their news channels, but you've got little minor media types running around reporting the truth and posting it on social media in Cyberpunk, trying to get the truth out there. Guess what, boys and girls? That's the world we live in today.
Hey, K. Ravenwolf.
Hey there, Ravenwolf. How you doing?
Okay.
Wow, a lot of people are canceling their streams tonight. Yes, a lot have. Doomcock, he canceled his. I think Snowdub's canceled his.
Oh wait, Snow's going on tonight.
Oh, he is going to go on tonight? Because
yeah, he was
I saw
live
him
earlier, and he said he would be back on.
All right, cool.
He's
Well,
going to cover
let me-
this.
Well, let me know when he starts. That way we can go ahead and see if somebody will show me how to do it. I'll send everybody in my chat over to his.
I believe they call that. I believe they call that a raid.
Yeah, I just don't know how to do that.
Nor do I, honestly.
Yes, K. Raven Wolf. Yes, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. We've been talking about that big time today, because this is just it's ridiculous. It really is, about what's happened. We need. I just can't believe this happened. Well, actually, I can believe it happened, because I've been saying something like this is gonna happen, because for far too long, anytime violence comes from the left, this isn't. This is just a freak thing, you know. Yeah, 31.
Yeah. They're not sweeping this one under the rug.
They can't, because it happened live on air.
Yep.
Just like they couldn't cover up when Trump got shot. It happened live on air.
And they tried to turn it into a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what disgusts me about it. Think if when Obama were in office, if something were to happen to him, they'd pin it as one of the worst things that ever happened in U.S. history. Oh, it happens to Trump. Oh, yay! Trump almost died. Let's all dance and sing in the aisles. Screw you guys, every last one of you.
Well, Kay, what did he do to deserve this? Quite simply, Charlie Kirk was all about trying to get people to have a civil discourse between differing opinions. He was trying to break the echo chambers. He was trying to get us to come out of just listening to one side news and actually start communicating with the other side, seeing that they're human too. That's the problem. The left cannot handle the fact that there are people out there who do not think like them. That's not me saying this. This is their actions that have proven it repeatedly over and over again. Even Jimmy Dore and several other left-wing commentators are saying this now.
Hey, Alice.
Hey, Alice.
She made it.
Hey.
Right, I'm gonna mute up real quick. I'm gonna get me some water. I'll be back.
All right. Well, okay, I totally get not being a big politics person, and someone like me that has been following politics since I was a kid. Mainly because, well, my dad was a Vietnam vet who went through hell in Vietnam and went through more hell when he came home. But I also had my grandfather who was in World War II. And so when I came home from Desert Storm and I said, I don't trust the government no more. My grandfather and father both said, welcome to the club. And so, yeah, there's that, But the right did not make this political. The left has been making this political since Reagan was in office.
Mm-hmm.
And most people of nowadays don't remember the stuff that was said when Reagan was in office. Everything they say about Trump today, they said about Reagan when Reagan was in office. They said the same thing about George H.W. Bush. They said the same thing about Bob Dole when he ran against Clinton in 96. 96. They said it about George W. Bush throughout his time in office. They said it about John McCain, even after they championed John McCain as being this big maverick Republican who stood up against the Republican establishment. They said the same thing about Newt Gingrich. They said the same thing about Mitt Romney, the most milquetoast dude you could ever meet. And of course, remember the build-up to Trump when he ran for office in 2016. People were laughing about it, but the media was giving him positive coverage. I mean, some of his biggest detractors of today were celebrating him, bringing him on their show once or twice a week, like Mika and Joe on Morning Joe. And they celebrated the dude right up until he got the nomination. And as soon as they got the nomination, they turned on him. I did not support Trump when he was running the first time during the primaries. I didn't trust him because he had been a lifelong Democrat. He donated more money to Democrats than he ever donated to Republicans. He was best friends with the Clintons. The entire reason why he did the whole Obama birth certificate hullabaloo was as a favor to Hillary Clinton to keep it in the news. So I didn't trust him. In fact, my brother-in-law and I had a conversation in my backyard about this right before the primaries, and Trump won the primary. Because we were like, what do you think? Because he asked me what I thought about it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust the dude. And we both made the agreement that if he was the one that was going to, if he was the one that got it, go ahead and put the other one back in the refrigerator so they'll be cold.
Oh, they already are cold.
Sorry. I was talking to my nephew. We were sitting there talking about this, and I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton no matter what, because Hillary Clinton's the reason why. The only way I'll ever physically see my son is if he comes to the United States to see me again. Because when he was a baby, his mother abandoned me after I was crippled and took my kids to the UK illegally in 2008. And at the beginning of 2009, I was contacting the State Department trying to get the lawyer that the State Department was required by law to provide me in this type of a case. She gave me the runaround. Her and Abaddon gave me a runaround for 2 years. I had the British Home Office telling me, no. The way the law is, your State Department's supposed to get you a lawyer to help you with this. I had the head of the Metropolitan London Police Department and the head of Scotland Yard both telling me if I really wanted to do something about getting my son back, my best bet was to come to the UK without anybody knowing I was there and wait for her to drop him off at preschool. And as soon as she had left, go in and get my son, go get him and put him on a plane, and we fly back to the United States at that moment. When you have law enforcement officials telling you that, you know something's fucked up.
Absolutely.
You know? And trying to get my
Yeah.
son to understand this has been next to impossible.
Yeah, that is a load of crap. Grade A, premium cut, U.S. choice crap.
Well, his entire life he's been told lies about me. And even after talking to me, he sees I'm not that type of a person. He still believes his mom because it's his mom.
Mm.
And I don't blame him because that's what he's grown up with.
You know,
It
Richard,
hurts.
I just want to touch on what Kay said when she said that she's not a political person. Because, you know, about the same age. Okay. I had a gift. I was able to go to a pre-law magnet high school.
Mhm.
And, you know, we studied all different forms of law. We studied debate.
Yeah.
Which was incredible. We studied, you know, civics and how the government worked. So even though I had a heads up in understanding it, I never really understood it.
Mhm.
But when I was about Kay's age, I worked with some very, very intelligent people.
How old is Kay?
She's 25-ish.
Oh, she's still just a baby.
She's a baby. She is. She's adorable. And you know, if I didn't have those people kind of explaining it to me and guiding me, because it happened to be we were post Obama maybe, but we were going into an election year, and by asking questions and these very intelligent people breaking it down for me and exposing me to it, I was able to get a better handle on it. And, you know, I really think that that's something that we're giving a gift to the younger generations now, is even though there is so much turmoil going on and
Mhm.
so much hate and anger, there are those little bits of positivity coming out of it.
Mhm.
And if that comes out of it, if one more person becomes enlightened or one younger person makes a choice based on fact, based on belief, based on value, then I feel we are adding something to it. And just that little bit more positivity is coming out of the whole situation.
Yep.
You know, and
That's
I
the whole
think that
That's the whole reason why I liked Charlie Kirk was the fact that he was trying to open dialogues.
yes, and that was why, you know, when when I was at work today when all this was kind of going down, and for a lot of people who don't know, but most people on the chat, I'm pretty sure do, you know, I work in an operating room.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm in and out of cases all day. Um, you know, I actually had the pleasure of fixing a veteran today. And of course, I thanked him for his service. Um, and, you know, as I'm going through my day, you know, Discord's kind of going off and I'm trying to follow and I didn't quite get it, you know, and I finally, you know, get on the phone with Crazy and I'm like, Discord's popping off. Honey, what's going on? Can you check all this, you know? And he tells me about Charlie.
Mhm.
And the first thing I say is, we have lost an icon.
Yep.
We have lost somebody who truly loved to debate. And debating is a skill, hands down, that I believe has gone by the wayside, because unless you can have good, healthy debate, you can't have good, healthy conversation. And so to think about this great man being lost like this to a senseless act of assassination was just heartbreaking for me. I think I've cleaned our kitchen 5 times over by now, because it's the generations that are going to miss out on hearing what he has to say. And it's also the fact how bad the left is going to spin this.
They
That is
already are.
heartbreaking. You know, and for people who say, I really, in my heart, unfortunately, have seen the hate that they breed. And, I work with a very mixed group of people. Like, I cannot tell you how hot our facility was during this last election. I had it out with my own mother in our PACU, because my mother and I work together, and my mother is a diehard Democrat, and I am definitely a diehard Republican. And working with such a mixed group of people, I also do things that take me out of my comfort zone that I wouldn't normally do, but I do for the good of my patients. And I do it because I know if they had to go someplace else, they'd be going to Mexico and could be getting sick. And so I do things that in my heart I would not do, but I also love my job and I love my patient care. But today I honestly sat there and looked at crazy and said, I don't think I want to do those surgeries anymore. But there again, I was taking their hate, putting it on people who I don't even know what their views are, just because they're different. And I'm like, wow, it spreads. They spread. And we have to hold true to what we know and our beliefs and stand together as a community.
Yep. Well, hold on
Yeah.
for a second, Alice. Carlos Fish posted his mother-in-law is in really bad shape, out of it, on a breathing tube. Surgery wounds are not healing. Oh man, Carlos.
Oh no, Carlos.
We'll keep you guys in our prayers. If y'all want me to,
Absolutely.
I'll even say a prayer on here if you want.
Absolutely.
Just let me know, because if it's, I have no problem with praying for somebody. Because to me, that's calling on God for help is one of the things that I'm more than willing to get on my knees for other people.
Oh, there's nothing that brings me more joy than when a family, being here in the South, asks us to come out and pray with them before surgery.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have
There is
a friend of mine in one of my other communities who I went to a Bible study this last Sunday night, and I had myself anointed on his behalf.
Aw.
He's going through a lot of really bad stuff right now, and him being across the pond, the only thing I can do is pray for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the entire Bible study praying for him. I've got a few people at work praying for him. He's in a rough spot, and I really love the guy. He's absolutely amazing.
There's so much power in prayer.
Absolutely.
And when you see it work, it first of all, when you have enough faith in your heart to do it for somebody else, that's true selflessness.
Mhm.
And then to watch it work, to watch that person be elevated, to just see the calm it brings. We need a lot more of that in this world. So, Jorge,
Yes.
that is beautiful.
One of
Absolutely
the things
beautiful.
that one of the things with Charlie Kirk that always inspired me was the fact that he was a young man who had a decent head on his shoulders that wanted peace. He wanted to get people to stop yelling at each other, just to talk to each other.
Mhm.
and disagree with him all you wanted to. He had no problem with somebody disagreeing with him, but he wanted to listen to what you had to say. And all he asked was that you listen to what he had to say, so you could actually note what he actually was saying. And the number of times he had people come up and start attacking him for something he never said was something that he said that was, I think, the hardest thing he had to deal with was people who would come to him acting like he had said something he had never said.
And he's very he was always, he articulated himself beautifully. We watched probably a dozen or so, of just him at the college campuses, and to see him probe these young minds and
Mm-hmm.
ask them, why did they believe that, or why did they think that? What is your factual basis in that? Was something I don't think half of these children or kids or people, or however you want to phrase it, actually thought about. We
Mm-hmm.
stopped looking for answers and accept what we're told. A lot of people just accept what they're told, like with what mainstream media does, and a point that Orieva was making earlier,
Mm-hmm.
with the brainwashing.
Well, look at a few years back, there was a college group that had a whole bunch of black kids. It was from a black school that would be going to debates, and instead of actually debating, they were basically huffing and puffing and being little assholes. And it's like, you're not listening to what the other side is saying. You're not really making points. You're continually bloviating your talking points. And it caused a really big deal. I can't remember the name of the school, but I remember watching the videos of it because I can't remember if it was the Rush Limbaugh show that showed the videos, or if it was on Glenn Beck. But they were showing this is what passed for college debate classes and high school debate classes, and it was insane because I remember when I was in high school and we had a debate club,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have done it if I could have, but I couldn't because I lived up on the mountain and I couldn't do after school stuff because I couldn't get back home, because I actually had teachers that said you ought to try out for the debate team because, I was conservative even back then, even though I was more libertarian in my mindset, because I was always asking the question, why is it the Republicans are always made into the bad guys whenever they need a political bad guy?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really messed up, and it was wild. And debate used to mean something. They used to teach civics in schools. My nephew,
Absolutely.
he graduated. It was last year or the year before last, Logan.
I graduated in 2024.
Okay, you graduated in 2024, so that was last year. Yeah. And he didn't have civics in school. My niece, she's in didn't Zoe just start 8th grade this year?
No, she's a freshman.
Yeah, that's 9th grade. It's freshman year. Yeah.
So I did have a civics class.
Oh, you did have a civics class?
Yeah, I think it was like either freshman or sophomore year.
Freshman or sophomore year?
I think so.
But then how come when I told you and your buddies a whole bunch of stuff, you're like, never heard that before?
Oh, simply because the education system is failing.
Yeah,
There we go.
the education system is failing. He said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I taught his buddies would come over and just listen to me talking about history stuff and how the government was set up and how it was all supposed to operate. And they were like gobsmacked, and then they'd get on their little artificial brain thing and Google search what I just said to find out what I said was true. And I'm like, I learned all this stuff when I was your age in school.
Yep.
And,
It was taught. It was taught to me when I was in school.
and it's frustrating. I mean, I'll admit I didn't learn about James Buchanan being the first gay president until much, much later in life.
I didn't know James Buchanan was gay at all.
Yeah, him and his vice president, they were gay.
Yeah, the
And it was known at the
sexualities of
time.
the sexualities of the presidents were never discussed when I was in school.
Well, it shouldn't be discussed either, but I'm just saying it was one of those things that back in the day, it was actually known that it was an open secret in Washington when they were there. And go look it up. It's flipping hilarious. It's like the first female president was Edith Wilson, because Woodrow Wilson had a massive stroke, and she was running the government and everything in his name, and she was actually going to run him for a third term, and the Democrat Party said, "Fuck you, no." Yeah. But yeah, history is something that's awesome. That's why I keep trying to get everybody to read it. You know, it seems boring, but it's awesome. But you have fun, Carlos. Yeesh. Go eat that corn chowder, man.
So I was very blessed.
Which reminds me, Carlos, I've got a couple of recipes I might share with you one day that you'll enjoy.
Cream corn casserole.
Well, I
love me some cream corn casserole.
I make a mean one.
Oh,
I have the recipe for a corn chowder that is to die for, because it's got diced onions, diced potatoes, and corn, milk, and butter, salt, and pepper. And I add bacon to mine.
Oh.
Let me stress that again. I add bacon to mine.
We all know bacon makes everything better.
Yes,
Yep.
if you want to be really awesome, you put some chicken in there too. Some finely cut, diced up chicken breast.
Oh, you got Kay's attention there with the bacon.
Yes, bacon. One of my favorite all-time videos is of the baby having his first bacon.
Yes.
And he's wearing Christmas pajamas, and you can tell it's taking place during Christmas, and he's like having his first taste of bacon. He's like, bacon, bacon. And everybody's enjoying watching.
I'm not gonna lie, Kay. Kay in the chat says, my Nana adds bacon to her meatloaf. I love it. That sounds amazing.
It is. Okay, if you want to make a really good meatloaf, finely dice onions, a sweet white onion and a sweet red onion. Then also chop up a set of peppers, a red pepper, a yellow pepper, and an orange pepper. Don't finely dice them. You know, just make them chunk. You know, just little less than bite size. You know, little squares. Then your ground beef, and then you got some bacon. You add your various seasonings to it, and you know, of course, the egg, so it will stay together. It be nice and moist. With depending on the type of ketchup you use. Now, if you want to be a little exotic, believe it or not, using banana ketchup made out of bananas, it turns out weird.
Oh.
Because believe it or not, banana ketchup.
I've never heard of banana ketchup. But with my love of bananas, I want to put it on everything now.
It's good. Hold on a sec. Hey, Logan, can you do me a favor? Go grab the banana ketchup out of the refrigerator. I want to make sure the name of the company is Baron. But it's
banana ketchup. I want to put that on my ice cream.
Well, now I want to make banana pudding. So somebody needs to get over here. So y'all need to come to the mountain so we can freaking cook some food. Because
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we got a lot
big
going on here.
potluck. Have a big
Yeah.
potluck. Heck yeah. I love that.
All right, hold on a second. Yes, it's burning. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to show you guys.
Strawberry banana yogurt.
All right.
Wolf says.
All right.
Mm.
I'm going to warn you. My ugly face is about to appear. All right. Hi. My ugly
Hi.
face.
Hey,
Oh my God, it's ugly.
There it is.
Oh man.
can we get it in a 2-pack and I can send the Morieva one?
Oh,
Yeah, it's.
yes.
I got this off of Amazon,
Okay.
and unfortunately, it comes in these small bottles, and they're kind of expensive.
Oh, it comes in a
But-
2-pack.
Yeah, they do have some in a 2-pack. But yeah, it's really good. So good. My sister, she does not like bananas. My family refers to them as monkey sticks because of my granddad. But she liked the taste of it until she's like, "What do you think of it? This tastes really good." And I'm like, "Guess what it is?" And she's like, "Don't you tell me it's made out of banana." And I'm like, "Well, it is made out of banana." And
That actually reminds me. Back up in Indiana, there's a radio station I used to listen to in Central Indiana, WFMS. One of the co-hosts for the morning show back in the day. Absolutely, when she was a little girl, absolutely hated tomatoes, and she refused to have anything to do with tomatoes. So what her father would do would for years he got her to eating tomatoes by tricking her into saying, "Oh, well, they crossbred a tomato with an apple, and this is what it is. It's called a tomapple." And years go by her eating tomatoes and enjoying it. Finally, when she's an adult, her dad confesses, "Hey, you know how you've been eating these tomatoes all these years? Yeah, well, they're really just regular tomatoes."
now, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of really quick recipes they're pretty easy. Cottage cheese, a dollop of mayo, and if you're going to do it with pears, you take some decent canned pears, dice the pears up, and mix it in. But one of my favorites is, I call it tomato salad, where you dice tomatoes, some salt and pepper, with the cottage cheese and a dollop of mayo.
Oh yeah.
And then you add in, if you're really being adventurous, you dice up some onions and add that in there with a handful of bacon crumbles. Oh,
Man, that sounds good.
I think you might have found a way to get crazy to eat some cottage cheese.
Hey,
man, it's
if you
good.
ever wanted a recipe for tartar sauce, Miracle Whip, and whatever type of relish you enjoy. I prefer sweet relish.
Mm-hmm.
But you mix some Miracle Whip and sweet relish. It gives an odd scent. The tanginess of the Miracle Whip and the sweetness of the relish gives a very odd sensation.
Yeah, Miracle Whip is an acquired taste.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm a Miracle Whip girl, even though I live in the land of Dukes.
Hey, I like both.
Dukes is good. And Kay Ravenwolf in the chat, your opinion is heard. I will not say it's valid, but it is heard.
Well, Miracle, like I said, I like Miracle Whip, but I love my mayo because I love. Okay, this is definitely a Southern thing. White bread, mayo, tomato, salt, pepper.
Yep.
That's a meal.
I don't eat white bread.
Okay, another way of doing it is white bread, mayo, the tomatoes, salt and pepper. Put that and cut it into quarters. Put it on a plate, and then you pour either cream of corn, creamed corn on top, or just regular corn, and then eat it. Of course, you put a little bit of salt and pepper on the corn too, with a nice thing of butter. That's definitely a Southern comfort food that came about during harvest, because we would have that all the time whenever it was time to harvest. And main reason why you did that was because the kitchen was always super hot because we were canning all the vegetables that we were bringing in out of the garden. And cooking a big meal was not something you really wanted to do.
No.
But you had all this corn that had already been made, so you wouldn't have to make it. You just get a scoop of the corn out of the big pot and put it on top of your tomato sandwich. Oh man, those things were good. But nobody around here likes them, so I haven't got to be able to do them in a long time.
Well, we'll eat them with you any day.
And I'm big time Southern, so yeah. And there used to be a really good soul food restaurant here in Charlotte that, oh my God, they were always busy, and I can't believe they ended up shutting down because they were Central and Plaza, and like I said, they were always busy. And you would go in there, and the way they had it set up it wasn't okay. You know how how buffets are set up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it wasn't a buffet, but it had the big open area in the restaurant that was set up like how buffets have the tables and the booths and everything set up. And the buffet part was like for salads. And they had all the good Southern salad makings on the salad buffet, and oh God, it was so awesome. And the sweet tea almost tasted like my mom's and grandmom's sweet tea.
Oh, and that is a skill. That's a skill.
Which means 2/3 of that sweet tea was glucose. And you had you had alfalfa sprouts on that dang thing for your and you know how hard it is nowadays to find alfalfa sprouts for salads?
That's why you have to grow your own.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, this is hard it's hard to find because I like go to Golden Corral and they don't have it. What the hell? I think the only restaurant that's in the area that still has it, and they don't have it all the time, was Western Sizzling.
You all still have one?
Yes, there was one in Monroe. I don't know if it's still there. I think it is. It's not that far from Iron Horse. It's right beside one of the hotels that me and my family stayed in when we were homeless. Heck, the old couple that ran it actually tried to talk us into the staying and working there and taking it over. And I was more than willing to do it. Emma wasn't, though. Because they fell in love with Jack, and the fact that Emma was pregnant with Zachary at the time,
The whole family aspect.
Yeah, and the fact that Jack was just an adorable little dude that everywhere I went he wanted to go to. Whenever we had the house and I'd go mow grass, he would be about 6 feet behind me with his little toy lawnmower, breaking up the clots that came out of the lawnmower as I was mowing. And yeah, like I said, I was the dad that woke up early just so I could get stuff ready for them, and I'd make them their hot tea and milk, and change their nappies, start getting them ready for their day while Emma drank her cup of tea first thing in the morning to wake up. I was the one that did the midnight feedings and midnight nappy changes. And the only time in my life I ever felt happy and alive.
Oh.
And people wonder why. I wish that I would have been allowed to stay dead. That's one of the reasons. Because there was a part of me that knew what was going to end up happening. Because this isn't living, this is existing.
Right.
Being a father was, a husband and father was my dream. And I got to have it for a short period of time. And those memories help keep me going.
But I just love to think of all the skills and all the things that you learned during that time that you were able to kind of pass on to your nieces and nephews and, help your sisters and be there for, around the family and just bring that dynamic and those aspects to your greater family.
Okay, hold on a second. Logan, come here for a second. I want you to tell them something. What is rule number 1 when it comes to me?
Don't end up like you.
Did you guys hear that?
Or
Hold on. Say it again.
Don't end up like Richard Alvin Spake.
That's my rule number 1 with my niece and nephews. Don't end up a broken failure like me.
You're not a failure, Richard.
yeah.
You're not a failure.
Mm-mm.
Broken, maybe. Failure, absolutely not.
That's me.
If you were a failure, I would not be here right now.
And I was just gonna say you've brought a lot of people together.
Oh yes.
Well,
We would not be in this live stream together if you were a failure.
well, I know Doomcock. It took him forever to realize what I was saying about the community that he was building, that it wasn't just a community, it was a family.
And there's another person
Tony,
in our that needs to hear the same thing. And I'm so glad that you walked through it with DC. Because when you can say it to Tony, I know that you know that community.
Tony
feel
is
that
my brother, and it's one of the reasons why whenever I ask him, hey, do you need some Energon and some Cokes? And then I'll send him a care package. On the 16th, when my money comes in, I'm going to beg and plead to find out a way of sending a care package down to Thetazord because he needs it right now even more.
Be honest, I'm not sure what Energon is. Is it Energon just a term for alcohol?
No, Energon is a term for energy drinks.
Ah, okay.
Monster energy drinks. He loves those things. And I buy him the big cans that you can reseal, and he loves those things.
And now we know how he stays up all night. He's the go-go Energizer Bunny.
And
oddly enough, I can't drink Monster. I found that out the hard way. I stole one from one of my managers one time, and I had a huge energy buzz for like an hour. Then I immediately fell asleep when I went to break.
Yeah.
Like I drink 2 cups. I drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and that's enough to get me through my shift usually. But that morning, we didn't have any coffee in the whole place, so I stole a Monster Energy off of David, my manager. And I immediately regretted it. The very next day, I had the worst migraine I had ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it all depends on how much of it you drink.
I love K's on the Monster train too.
Yeah.
I can't drink Monster. It like even just one single can.
I remember when Red Bull came out. I remember when Red Bull came out because Red Bull sent a whole bunch of their reps to various gaming conventions, and they were handing out cans of Red Bull. I couldn't even drink not even a quarter of the Red Bull that they gave me because it just tasted nasty to me, and I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to drink this. And I had another friend who was like, hey, I'll drink it then. And of course, he drank a little bit of it, and then he took his bottle of vodka and opened it up and poured it. Then filled the can back up and then drank it. I am not really supposed to drink them due to my condition, but they help my migraines at times. So it all depends on what type of migraine you got, because I live with migraines. I've got unfortunately, I inherited from my mom migraines, and so did my sisters. They also inherited migraines. I don't know if hold on, Logan, did you get them? Do you get migraines too, or is it just Zoe?
I sometimes get migraines, I believe.
So you do get them sometimes. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, chronic migraines is never fun.
Yeah.
But I end up having to take my migraines got worse because of the traumatic brain injury from the accident that killed me, and they had to rebuild me. That's one of the reasons I always loved $6 Million Man back in the day, and now I can say I'm the $300,000 man because that's how much they spent putting me back together again.
They rebuilt you, but did they have the technology?
Yes, they did. I literally was the prototype experiment for this procedure, because everybody they had done this procedure with before me was never able to walk again. And the fact that I was able to make this broken body walk proved to them that the procedure worked, and they've refined it enough to where the people that go through the procedures and protocols for rebuilding a person's legs, they're nowhere in near as much pain as I am today. Because I ended up losing several inches of bone and muscle in my thigh, and they bridged the gap with a metal rod, and then they stretched those muscles and tendons and everything to fill the gap. And I've got physiotherapists that still can't believe that I make this body walk. They're like, how can you do this? You've got to be in so much pain. I'm like, yeah, I'm in pain, but how are you walking? And I really looked at this woman and I said, because I have to. And she just couldn't believe it. And I used to be extremely bashful about my body. I did not like people seeing me naked. I mean, whenever I'd go swimming, I'd always wear a shirt. That's how bashful I was. But because of all the doctors and stuff I had to deal with, always showing up at the hospital after they put me back together again, and they're stripping me butt naked so all the doctors and nurses could look, and they're talking about how they put my legs back on. And yeah, that was having to get used to that.
A little bit of modesty goes out the window sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was like, damn, this isn't fun because I don't like being made. No, didn't like it. And but yeah, I still don't like people seeing the scars on my legs.
See, and I just feel like scars tell a story. You know, they show what you've been through, how you've grown. Like I cherish mine, and I wish more people would embrace them.
Yeah, it's the only
Yep.
problem though is whenever I do show the scar on where they reattach my leg, because they look at me and said, "But you got your rear legs on." I'm like, "Yeah, they reattached them." No, they didn't, and I have to pull up my shorts and show them the scars, saying, "See, this is how they put my legs back on." And they're like, "Oh my God, they can do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Anybody who says medical care here in the United States is bad, slap them, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh, I've had the pleasure of sitting through a 24-hour putting back on an arm on a 12-year-old little girl that was in a car accident on 26 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the call, and my hand surgeon that I still work with just today, and one of our vascular surgeons, they took the ambulance, picked her up, brought her back. 24 hours later, we had her arm back on, and he sees her yearly, and she is healthy and in her mid-20s now.
Sweet. That's
So
awesome. I
there's
mean, doctors and nurses are some of the most amazing people on earth. And it really upsets me when I see so many doctors and nurses getting out of doing what they love to do because they can't afford the malpractice insurance.
it's awful. And insurance companies, big pharma, all that is really pushing them out.
Because one of the landscaping companies here in Waxhaw and the Waxhaw Charlotte area is actually owned by a guy who used to be a surgeon. If I remember right, he was a neurosurgeon. Him and his wife, because his wife was a surgical nurse. When they realized that 10 months out of the year, everything that they were making was going to go pay their malpractice insurance, they were like, this is fucked up. And they said that they might not be doing the job that they love, but they're doing a job that not only pays the bills, but allows them to live a hell of a lot better than they did while they were living as doctors and nurses.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that, how much they were paying in malpractice insurance. You heading home?
Yeah.
All right, you be good.
I would-
Remember, I love you. And remember rule number 1. Yep.
No shooter in custody.
But Logan
Yeah.
just went home, so
I can't. Oddly enough, I can't get health insurance right now.
what? Culver's isn't providing?
Well, no, it's not. Well, Culver's doesn't do insurance anyway. But what happened? I'm just going to start at the beginning. I was on SSDI years ago, back when I worked years ago, because of my autism and stuff like that. I was put on it by my mom. And when I worked for R&R, which is the AC company I worked for a few years back, my boss had me working all sorts of hours, and to keep your Social Security, to keep getting your Social Security checks, you can only get so much. You can only make so much money.
Right.
And I was making well over what I was able to, because I was working a lot of hours that I wasn't supposed to be working. So I got booted off my Social Security, and Grandma, without asking any questions or anything, was under the mistaken impression that because I was losing my Social Security, that I would be losing my Medicare, because I was on Medicare as well through my disability.
Right.
So she canceled part of it. Remember that exact phrasing there. She canceled part of it and had me start looking for other insurance on the insurance marketplace.
Oh.
I ended up with Ambetter, which all well and good, except there was only one doctor in my entire city that took Ambetter, and she was a certified nut job, and I absolutely hated her. But what ended up happening there, the Ambetter every 6 months would send me in a letter, hey, you need to send us in paperwork confirming you're not on Medicare. You need to send us paperwork confirming you're not on Medicare. Blah, blah, blah. 2 years, every 6 months of this. Finally, they send me a letter. Hey, we have determined that you are in fact on Medicare. Me thinking I'm not because of dealing with it with my grandma a few years back. I finally call into Social Security about it, And yeah, it turns out I still had, I think it was part D, I think, whichever one is the emergency hospitalization.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still had that part of it. And I am locked into it. I am stuck with it until 2028.
Oh.
And I can't do anything because legally I can't say I don't have Medicare because technically I do.
Can't you go ahead and use that to be able to get the regular Medicare?
No, because I no longer qualify.
That's weird.
Well, see, and
I'm not on disability anymore, so I don't qualify. I lost my Social Security disability benefits.
You know, that's one of the things that I had to go get a lawyer for mine. You would have, because they denied me like 3 times.
and unfortunately, like even me working in the healthcare field, I don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Crazy doesn't have insurance because the deductibles on our stuff is ridiculously high. For me and Crazy on my insurance alone at work, for 2 of us with his colostomy, if they would cover it with his colostomy, would be over $900 a month. But since they don't consider Crazy's colostomy a disability, he can't get Medicaid, Medicare, or even disability because he doesn't have the work credits.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
So my only hope right now is to pray to God that nothing happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Because if it does, I am up poop creek without a poop paddle.
damn. Well,
Yeah, it-
our madman is here. How you doing? Tales of Valhalla.
Sir Richard, glad I could sit by your fireside for a few minutes tonight.
You're more
yes,
than welcome
we are.
to. The
We are
door's
glad to have you.
the door's always open, and you've always got a seat.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, usually not available, but I had a few minutes tonight, especially after the events of today. My goodness.
Yeah, today's events has been damn. Uh, Charlie Kirk, to me, you know, he was a living embodiment of one of the things that I said. You know, we need to get back to the civility. We need to get people start talking to each other.
Mhm.
You know, and they murdered him for it.
Yes, they did.
And
Because the politicians don't want civility; they want division.
Yes.
And I believe I put in the chat earlier, I've been saying for years, we don't need politicians, we need leaders.
And
yes,
they're just going to keep
Agreed.
killing off the ones that were up and rising. And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
like they're just going to pick them off.
well, like Mario said, you know, he didn't want to be into politics. You know, he just was trying to get people to be human to each other again. And he had people that wanted him to get into politics, but he just did not want to be involved in politics. And Dana Lash was talking about the first time she met him. He was a teenager behind the scenes at CPAC, you know, working. I think she said he was an intern or something at CPAC. And she watched as he went from that to establishing Turning Point USA. And the thing was that Charlie Kirk was making a change. That's one of the reasons why the current upcoming generation is a lot more conservative than those that came before it at
Right.
this
Amen.
point in their lifestyle, in their lives. And it's it for me, he was what I had been talking about. He was a living embodiment of my dream of getting people to bridge the gap, talking to each other again, to get people to start seeing each other as human, agreeing to disagree, and still be friends.
You know,
And not
really
be
think-
emotionally compromised either, even if you
Correct.
disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I used to have a lot of friends that did not agree with me politically, and I still loved them and still cared about them, even though we don't communicate anymore. Because some of them think I am a monster because I don't think like them, that I voted for somebody that they're like, that guy's evil. And I'm like, you guys do remember, y'all used to be celebrating Donald Trump back in the day. And they didn't change the subject, and they still call me an evil monster when I bring this stuff up. And we need our, it's like I said earlier, we did not make this political. The political got forced on us because the majority of the right just wants to be left the hell alone.
Absolutely.
Let me live my life the way I see fit. And I want you to live your life the way you see fit. Just don't force it on anybody.
Don't
It's
break
like-
the law.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's like my stance when it came to same-sex marriage. If the church is willing to perform that ritual, let them do it. But do not force churches that finds that abhorrent and sacrilegious. When you force a church to perform a ritual they don't agree with or don't believe in, that goes against the very tenets of their faith, that's oppression.
Yes.
Yep.
And that was my point in it. I had LGBT activists that I've had this conversation with back before all this came up that agreed with me. These same people have come to the same conclusion that I have. The activists that have taken over the movement they've created the backlash that's coming, where they're forcing trans stuff everywhere.
Mhm.
There's no
It's
such
hor-
thing.
it's hor-
There's no such thing as a trans kid. The
No.
majority of children, if they're left alone, they grow out of it and they just end up being gay. Or
There's such a thing as an abused kid, though.
yes,
So
you
Yeah.
also. It's like my little sister, Laura Jane, who I call Monkey Butt because she's a little spider monkey. She's like 5'2", and she still has to climb around the kitchen to get the stuff. She was a tomboy up until she hit high school, and then she became a girly girl. If you guys know what I mean, she
Oh,
liked
yeah.
girl things after that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, she liked playing with my toy cars and things of this nature. But children like that nowadays get treated as if they're trans. Gay kids get treated as if they're trans. I've gotten into arguments about this, about why do you think the great leader of Iran says there's no gay people in Iran? Mainly because if you get caught being gay, they give you two choices: go under the knife and get a sex change operation, or we kill you.
Yep.
Those are the
I
choices.
actually saw a thing on TikTok of last week where this teacher, a young, probably in his mid to late 20s, forces all of his students to become trans.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Well, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
this is why my son is being homeschooled.
Amen to homeschooling. I wish I
is-
did that with ours.
and that is exactly why I will never have kids. Actually, that's just one of the many reasons I will never have kids.
So
I have
one
no-
of
Me, with the way I was raised, the emotional scarring I have, and the psychological developmental issues I have no business having kids.
Oh, one of the things I can say about that is be the type of parent you wanted. If you,
Yep.
because that's the way I was taking it when it came to my role as a father, when it came to Zach and Jack, because I was trying to be the type of father I wished I had had, because my dad, when I was little, was so standoffish, and I did not know why until after he died. In fact, I did not know the reason why he was so distant from me until the day he died, and my aunt told me the truth. And it's one of the reasons why I hate myself. And the adult in me knows that it's irrational to hate myself. But the little 3 to 4 year old all is still in me going, I did this to my mommy and I killed my little brother. And no matter how hard I try, that little voice is still back there in the back of my head.
Mhm.
And that's why I am the way I am. That's why I try to be as kind and compassionate with others. Why I try to be understanding to others. It's why I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, even when they're stabbing me in the back. And it's like the fact I still haven't gotten my Amazon account back yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from Amazon about my Amazon account because it got hacked on Sunday.
Ooh.
Mm.
And
Yikes.
somebody wiped out my the money I had on my card by sending themselves gift cards again.
Oh dear.
Since they haven't got back to me today, I'm going to be contacting them tomorrow and trying to go through that whole process of saying, hey, I need to talk to somebody about this from your fraud and prevention people because they still haven't contacted me yet. And which is frustrating because Amazon is how I get most of the stuff done because I am a shut-in. I don't get to go out. And the fact that whoever it is, not only did they hack my account, they changed the email associated with my account.
Mhm.
And my Amazon Prime and my Amazon Kindle and all that stuff, I'm worried that that's all going to disappear. All those books that I've got on Amazon is going to go bye-bye. All of the movies I bought for streaming is going to go bye-bye because of this shit. And it's really, really got me frustrated and upset. And I'm doing everything I can not to completely lose my shit when it comes down to it. Because
And then this week happens.
yes, so this week has turned out the way it has. The original plan we had for today's live stream was talking about the murder here in Charlotte,
Mm.
and the fact that that they were able to convince the news media to not report on it isn't new. That was one of the things we were going to be talking about because we've had several cases of major scandals that came up in Charlotte that the Democrats in charge was able to cover up because
It goes on in other cities too, you know.
Well, I'm talking about it because this has happened in my backyard.
Local, yeah.
And the fact that one of the girls that got killed this year, her family lives right down the road from me.
Mm.
And when I say right down the road, I mean right down the road, not that far from me, like maybe a 10-minute drive from me. The Federico family is. I've seen them and talked to them in the past. They might not remember me, but I remember their last name because Federico is one of those names I wrote down in my little notebook of interesting names so I can remember them and use them whenever I'm doing my writing back in the days when I was doing creative writing all the time.
Such a healthy outlet.
And their daughter was only 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if you check in the description here on this YouTube video, I've got the GoFundMe's for her family, and Iryna, Iryna's the Ukrainian girl's family as well.
Hmm.
They're both those two GoFundmes is links are down there, and I was wanting to spend this time talking about it and how the corruption that's taken over the news media, covering up political corruption just because somebody's got a D after their name. Let's cover this up so it doesn't look bad for our side. And it's frustrating to me because this is happening here in my backyard. And I love Charlotte. Charlotte is a beautiful city. It's a big city that feels like a small town because you still
IKEA.
have, yeah, it's a sprawling place. It's not one of those places that built up on itself. It allowed itself to spread. That way you have distinct sections of Charlotte that are their own little neighborhood communities. And thus they were able to maintain the small town feel. And I love it. It's one of the reasons why I kept saying we needed a superhero team that could show off how unique Charlotte was. And I still love Charlotte. I always will. It's where I was born. It's like Lake Lure. I love that area. Heck, I loved Bill's Creek, even though the people there wouldn't sell us property so we could stay. And I miss it. It's frustrating to me that there's so much that, well, when you love something so much, it's going to hurt you so easily and affect you so greatly. And that's how I feel about all this. It's a real kick in the teeth. And I don't have that many teeth left, you know? So I can't really take that because my teeth are breaking apart. That's why I don't like showing my ugly face. One of the worst parts about having drug allergies and the pain drugs that you can take have really bad side effects, like, well, making your teeth fall to pieces. Not fun. But I've not had pain medicine in so damn long. It's not even funny.
That's amazing.
And it's frustrating. But Charlie Kirk did so much trying to make the world a better place. He just
I really think a lot that this is going to start a revolution.
And that's my fear. That is my fear.
But I'm almost thinking, but if we channel it the right way and it's done correctly, changes could be had because was at that age and he was speaking to such a younger generation that we finally have a more cohesiveness on the right. It's a much well-rounded group. Yes.
In both
absolutely.
It's the right has become more diverse in thought, in deed, in action, and in ethnicity. There's more diversity on the right now than there is on the left.
And that is something they can't take. That's something they just can't take away anymore. They can't poo-poo it. They can't. It's in their face now, and it scares them.
Yep. If they deny it at this point, they're blind, or stupid, or both.
That was my cat, Kay.
It's all right.
We're pro kitty.
Yeah, I distinctly heard the sound of a cat very specifically saying hello.
Kinda. He likes to complain.
You
Likes to
cannot
keep
tell
it
me
off.
that cat did not say the word hello.
That's what I heard.
My girlfriend has a cat. I'm allergic to cats, but I like cats.
I have two little kitty stinkers at home, so old kitty stinkers. So yeah.
What when it comes to cats, I've got Kraken and I've got Prince. Kraken is basically a husky in a cat suit, and Prince is your stereotypical asshole cat. He's a little fat little bastard. And I don't know where he's at right now.
He's got a little lover boy named Cody at home.
Can I ask the panel a question real quick? Because I
Go
was
for it.
talking about this with my wife like earlier. Like this particular successful assassination attempt, unfortunately, does it feel like it like hit into the heartbeat of this country?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't think there has been such a call, like a unified call to prayer since like 9/11, to be perfectly honest.
I
Absolutely.
actually made a similar
Mhm.
comparison earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Democrats in Congress refused to do a moment of silence and started yelling during it.
Mm.
I've got several people on several of the servers I'm part of have been talking about this because Neon Clownfish TV posted on Twitter. His post says, hold on. And this is how you turn the rest of the map red and guarantee that a Democrat will never be president again. Vile. And
Keep on shooting yourselves in the foot.
Neon
Mhm.
is more on the left than he is anything else. Him and Geeky are pretty more left leaning. And they talk about the fact that the left keeps pushing them to the right.
Right.
They've not changed. They're still the same people they've always been with the same ideals they've always had. But they're finding themselves more and more on the right because the left has gone so far to the left.
The goalposts keep on moving.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's not that the left has gone more left, it's that the left is going insane.
Mhm.
And it's why I don't like calling them progressive, even though that's the phrase that they've always used. Until they had to steal liberal from us libertarians. Because a lot of people don't know this. The progressive movement of the early 20th century that Hillary Clinton championed when she ran for president, they were so far to the left that even communists were like going, that's hilarious, man. But it scared the American people so bad after what happened with Woodrow Wilson that the Democrats weren't able to get people to vote for him because anytime you mentioned being progressive, it caused the American people to start falling on the ground and shaking, going, "Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no!" So Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was Woodrow Wilson's protege, stole the term liberal from the libertarians, which was the quintessential classical American political ideology, which is basically small government that leaves me the hell alone.
Mhm.
That was the quintessential American political ideology. Keep the government is a necessary evil. Got to keep it limited. You got to keep it shackled. You got to keep an eye on it 24/7. Don't let it get out of control. Whenever it does, you take those bureaucrats and those politicians, strip them down to their skivvies, roll them around in some tar and feathers, then nail their giblets to a rail, and then run them out of town. That's how we kept corruption out of government in the United States for the longest time. That's why I keep saying we need to bring back tarring and feathering.
That's how it was held in check.
Yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, those checks and balances, either they're being erased or just ignored.
Yes.
I think a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
And when they stopped having the Senate being the representatives of the state governments, that's when you started noticing that was the beginning of the slippery slope. And as I've said earlier, we've not been on a slippery slope in almost 50 years. We're now on that slip and slide with a 6-foot coating of industrial strength Astroglide, the really good shit, the kind that allows a bull mastiff with gigantism to be able to fit into a miniature teacup chihuahua with dwarfism, with that little teacup chihuahua with dwarfism looking back going, are you in yet? Okay. That's what we're on right now.
Sure.
We're sliding down there out of control super fast because there's no friction at all holding us back. And we just keep going faster and faster and faster to insanity and death. And it's breaking my heart. I love this country. Why do you think I'm called the American Patriot? I love the country. I've been around the world. I have seen what this world has to offer, and I keep coming back to the United States going, thank God I am here. Because I've seen what they've got in the Middle East. I've seen what they've got in Africa. I've seen what they've got in Asia. There's a few places I didn't get to go to that I really wished I could go to. So I could have seen it with my own 2 eyes. Hell, I've had people telling me, hey, man, why don't you move to India? With the amount of money you get, you would live like a king. I'm like, what? Dude, do you know how much a brain surgeon in India gets paid for the whole year? No, how much? Around a couple of $1,000s. And I'm like, no way. For the whole year? For the whole year. That's what I get on my disability, man. You know, the combined of my my veterans compensation and pension and my Social Security disability. That's how much I get. He's like, yeah, you'd be living like a fracking king. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'd have so much money, I would actually have women who would want to be with me.
Richard.
If you need money to be attractive to women, you got a problem.
Hey, I'm a cripple, man. You know how?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm a cripple.
Hey.
Every time I tried dating after what happened, I really did. I went on 10 separate freaking dates, and the woman was so interested in me until it was time for the date to end, and I stood up and was having to use my crutches, and she could see the braces.
I'm sorry, that is just ridiculous. Women need to get a grip. Okay. Story like that absolutely break my heart.
Crazy Horse says Snowed Up is going live in 20.
All right, we'll shut it down then. But watching that interest that we had for over an hour over our dinner just disappear as if it had never existed.
See, and that's where, as a woman, I would, as somebody who's not superficial, would sit there and be like, wow, what's the story? What did he go through to get here? And what can he bring to my life and his experiences bring to our relationship?
And
that should be the thinking.
So that's why I every now and again I seriously think about it, because I'm alone and I miss things. I miss a lot of stuff, and the possibility, hey, who knows, might end up finding a woman that would let me make babies with her so I could have kids again and raise them and be part of their lives. And then I realized,
be the kind of father that your ex-wife robbed you of being.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think about. I think about it a lot. I I miss having little ones. I miss it. It made me feel human. It made me feel alive. It made me happy. And I, like I said, I'm a broken failure, and if I'm
What do we say
inspiring,
about using that word?
Mm-mm.
hey, if me being what I am inspires you guys to be better than me and greater than me, I'm happy with that.
Just don't use the word failure.
Yeah,
It's a
because
bad
like
look on you.
because
Yeah,
like Kay said,
Richard, hearing your story, you've overcome a lot, amazingly, a lot.
You're a winner compared to most of the rest of us.
amen.
Hmm.
Uh, Jeff, you've got a girlfriend. Crazy
A
and
girlfriend that
Alice
I can't see.
at this moment, but you can see her hopefully in the future. Our madman, he's got a family.
Hmm.
Alice and Crazy, you're married. You've got a family. You've got a legacy that's going to outlive y'all. I have a son that I love and I adore who's in the United Kingdom who believes the lies that his mother told.
Hmm.
Sometimes legacies lie elsewhere.
True.
You
Ian
never
says
know.
Tony was dealing with quite some depression this morning, touting himself as a failure. I know, and he's not a failure. Tony has so much potential and so
Oh,
much capability.
he didn't
God
even
doesn't make failures.
know.
God doesn't make no jump.
Exactly.
And
Sometimes we're all works in progress.
Ian, I'm not spiraling. I'm just being truthful. I'm letting you guys see I'm not perfect. I This is something I deal with on a daily basis, and I'm letting you guys see it. I'm letting you guys see how I feel because believe it or not, I saw Charlie Kirk as somebody who got it. He got what I wanted to see more in this world. And and he he was manifesting what I wanted. He was manifesting what I've been saying to people. And he was young. He was charismatic. He was able to do it. He was able to communicate with these kids at their level. And he was making the positive improvement. Just like I keep telling everybody whenever we're ending the show, that be the positive change in the world that you want to see. And he was doing it. He was being it. And they killed him for it. And
But I think now we need to uphold, I think, what he was showing us and showing these kids. And we do that by talking about it and standing strong as a community and having these open dialogues and teaching the kids right. All hope is not lost. It's just the
Amen.
beginning.
well,
Amen.
if I ever do decide to just run away, I'm going to probably either go to Alaska, where I've always wanted to go, or go to India, where my money would make me a king.
Hey, if you do become a king, remember your buddies back here at home.
I could always use the title princess.
Oh, I think you already have that one because I know that's what Crazy thinks of you.
Yep, I'm sure. I'm 100% certain crazy is crazy about you.
Yep, and just know that I love you guys.
I
Why I
love you
call you my
too.
family, and I even my mother used to call me her tender heart. because of how much I cared about others. That I cared more about other people than I ever did about me. Because I just saw the world and I saw the people in it and I saw the potential that they have. And all I could see is they're slapping themselves in their dick by doing stupid shit like this. And it just frustrates me, because these idiots that are doing victory laps over Charlie Kirk dying.
They're demonic. They're
The-
demonic.
Can I say one thing too? I think I have a bad feeling that this stuff like this will continue because any aggressive side will continue to feel emboldened if there's not any type of strong stand against them, whether that's jail, whether that's just being more aware of your surroundings, against people, or just trying to take hold and erase the lawlessness that is permeating this country, especially in the cities. It's not going to stop. We have to quit emboldening this type of thing, whether it's with passivity or support.
Mhm.
It needs to stop, or it'll continue. It'll continue.
Yeah. And I mean, I knew this was coming
Yeah.
back when, during the protests, the BLM and Antifa shit, when there was a guy that was wearing a red ball cap and somebody just walked up to him and killed him on the outskirts of one of their protests. And the people at the protest said, somebody just killed a MAGA hat wearer. Looks like somebody took the trash out, and everybody started cheering it.
Yeah. And if you're celebrating a person dying, it doesn't matter who would get assassinated. I don't care what side they're on. That's devastating.
Yes.
But if someone is celebratory over the death of an individual, doesn't matter who that individual is, if they don't have a clue, that is the wrong side. That is the wrong side. You should never, ever celebrate the untimely passing of anybody, especially in such an extreme, violent way.
Yep. And
Yep.
I'm just in shock, It's
Mm.
I thought I'd be a hell of a lot more angry and yelling and screaming. That's why I was ready to be running the rant, warning a rant is coming. But instead, I'm spending more time crying.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I think it struck a heartbeat. It struck the heartbeat of
A lot of people.
the true citizens of this country. Yeah,
Yes.
it's extremely sad, the fact that this is the eve of 9/11 too.
Yep.
hold on for a second, guys. Give me a moment.
Sure.
And I think that's what makes it hit that much harder.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
why now? What's the next move?
Cat.
Meow.
Say hi to everybody.
Meow.
Oh.
This is Kraken, guys.
It's crack.
Kraken.
Yep, it's a crack. It's a furry crack missile.
There he is. Say hi to everybody.
Meow.
Yeah.
I'd rather say goodbye to you.
But yeah, he's
adorable.
yeah. Whenever I start crying, he shows up.
Support.
He's your comforter.
Well,
Emotional support, kitty.
when I had my my lock-in epileptic seizure, he went to get help, and it's like I keep telling Shrubby, he's not like most cats. He actually is. He's a cuddle bug. He doesn't break stuff most of the time, though. Like I said, he acts like a husky more than anything else. And I know this because my sister, she's got a husky named Gunner, who acts just like him and looks like a husky version of him with the same coloration. And we joke about the fact that Kraken was pulled right out of Gunner's butt. And but yeah, I'm heartbroken by this because he was a young father with two gorgeous kids and a gorgeous wife, and he had so much potential, and we could see where he was going. And the fact that he was making a positive change on this planet, he was getting younger people to think critically.
Yes.
And to be able to enunciate and put into words what they were thinking and what they were feeling, and to start holding politicians accountable, and to be able to look past the rhetoric and look at things logically instead of just emotionally. Because it's like in Dune, emotion is the mind killer. When you allow your emotions to take over, your rational thought goes away. And I miss that, that's damn,
It's just life lessons and life skills that are being overlooked nowadays. And it's so taught around the kitchen table. It so starts at home.
Yeah. And I've been looking at this stuff. Like I said, I've been politically active since I was a child for over 50 years now. And all I can think is, if we don't change, this great experiment's going to die. And that scares the hell out of me because I'm a Christian. I am a big believer in God. Hell, I died 5 times. The dude with the kind eyes kept sending me back.
Your mission wasn't done.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, that there was something only I could do. And I was like, what? There's anything I can do, somebody else can do and probably do it better. And the only thing I could think of is it wasn't something that only I could do, but only something I would do. And the only thing that I know for a fact that I would do that nobody else would do was trade my life so somebody else could live. But that's how I've always been.
For no greater love has one than this, that one laid down his life for his friends.
Exactly. And that's how I've lived my life, And my doctor that I used to have, Dr. Rappaport, that was his biggest fear. Because every time he'd get a call going, this dude's depressed, I think he's suicidal. And he would laugh at them going, no, he's not suicidal. Even my psychiatrist laughs at these people when they say, I think he's suicidal. No, he would not do that to his kids. But if he was in a position to where if he knew saving somebody's life would get him killed, he would do it. He would just do it because that's the type of person he's always been. And my dad was the same way. He saved the life of a race car driver that was racing up Chimney Mountain. And that vehicle was about to fall off the mountain. And nobody would go and get the driver out because it was about to fall over the side of the mountain. And Dad just walked up, reached into the thing, through the driver's window, grabbed the guy, and yanked his ass out. and then the car goes over the edge.
Yeah, I do believe it is time for us to wrap up.
Yep, it's time for us to go. Thank you
Can-
guys for being here. Anybody?
Before we finish, have we said a prayer yet
No,
tonight?
not yet.
No, we absolutely should.
Because we
Mhm.
got to pray for hold on,
Carlos Fish's
Carlos Fish's
Beaches.
mother-in-law. We got to
Mhm.
pay. If Ian and his family won't mind, I'd like to pray for them too. We need to pray for Charlie's family. Do you want to give it, our madman, or would you like me to?
If you want to start, because I wasn't here for some of the stream for those, and then I can finish.
All right. Okay. We're going to close out today with a prayer for Carlos Fish's mother-in-law. Please, Lord, hear our plea, hear our prayers. Fill our love, fill our compassion, fill our kindness as we cry out to you to protect Carlos's mother-in-law, to give her the healing touch she so desperately needs. Give the healing touch also to their family. Help them get through this time of crisis, this time of fear, this time of pain, so they can be strong for her and be strong for each other. Let their kindness, their compassion, their love bridge the gaps and add strength to those that need it. Give them the ability to go past what they believe they themselves can do. I also cry out for this for Ian, Hambley's family. They're still hurting, and they still need our love. They still need our kindness. They still need our compassion. And they need your light. They need your healing. I call out for help, Lord, showing the world what it needs to heal. I call out, Lord, for the healing that Charlie Kirk's family needs, his young daughters, his wife, and everyone that was in his life that he had touched in a positive and enlightening way. Please, Lord, don't let his loss be a herald of darkness. Please, Lord, we need healing. We need healing so very much. We need all these people that are dominated by the darkness that's corrupting their souls, that's making them celebrate the death of one of your children, one of your most precious creations. Please help them see the darkness, see the error of their ways, and help shine a light on a path out of that darkness. Amen.
And Heavenly Father, we just give thanks for everyone here. We give thanks that you did have someone out there, your servant Charlie, out there to influence many, many people, probably for generations to come. And we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of your son. We continue just to ask that for those of us still here and see a void that needs to be filled, that you rise up people, leaders, to fill those voids, those gaps. And you continue to guide us, strengthen us, give us wisdom and courage and kindness that the world so desperately needs. Guide us through Jesus Christ, your Son, and be with us this night as we go on to do the things that we need to do throughout the rest of the week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Crazy, would you like to give a prayer, or Alice, or Jeff?
It was all beautifully said.
What about you, Jeff? Would you like to give a prayer?
Well, I don't consider myself a prayer warrior by any means, but I would like to do my due diligence for my friend, if you would indulge me for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Dear God, I come to you now on behalf of my friend Rex. God, you know the situation that he's in. You know how much of a burden this is upon him. God, I pray the blood of Jesus over the whole situation. I pray that everything would be resolved peacefully, that your angels would be upon him, and that he would feel your presence, your grace that surpasses all understanding over him at all times. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Everybody, as I've said many times, ending these, let's be the positive change in the world that we want. Let our actions be an example for others to follow. And as much as I hate to say this, if we do end up being taken out by trying to be good people, may we go out in a way that inspires others to pick up the torch and go forward. And never forget, you're not alone. You are loved. Because I know for a fact that I love each and every one of you. And one day, I am hoping that we can all get together and have a nice big meal.
Yay.
And I'll see you guys later. And thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having us. And Madman,
Yeah.
great to meet you. Moriego,
Yes.
we love
Pleasure,
you.
guys.
Thank you guys, all of you, for coming.